Hey, hey, hey!
Hey everyone!
So, today we're going to be doing something a little different than we normally do.
Yeah.
These last couple of projects that we've been posting have kind of been outside of our normal range of things. We're trying to switch it up a little bit for you. So, we're going to be working with a laser cut silhouette from Stirrups and Stitches. It's a beautiful laser cut. This one's kind of like a springtimey one.
Yep.
So, with just this simple pre-packaged laser cut and a beautiful batik, you can turn this into a gorgeous banner that you can use and switch throughout the different seasons.
Best part?
No sewing. I mean, we love sewing, obviously, but this is so simple.
Yeah.
You can do it really quick with some of the things that you probably already have around your house.
Yep, of course.
So let's go ahead and get started and take a look at what supplies you need.
So the supplies needed are as follows. You need your silhouette pattern, which they are on different sizes, so you want to make sure that you look at your supplies needed when you're cutting your fabric and picking out your ribbon and things like that. You also are going to need a dowel rod, your glue, your scissors, your suction cups, your permanent black marker, your batik of choice, your ribbon, your rotary cutter with the wavy blade, and last but not least, your ruler. Up and down? Up there or across? Okay.
Oh, right here. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
It's always going to be up here. So we're going to start by opening up our pre-packaged silhouette. So I'm just going to cut right here at the top, being careful not to cut the actual piece itself, and set the instructions to the side. I'll also be looking at those, and the plastic and other pieces to the side as well.
I'm going to take those out so there's no glare for you.
Cool. Now there is a little bit of tape holding these pieces together, so we're just going to pull that tape apart. And I'm going to go ahead and open up our silhouette. And it's going to kind of roll a little bit, and it's okay. Don't worry about that whenever we take off this the backing piece here that keeps the glue on, that everything will flatten out nicely. So I'm going to pick that up and remove this paper and just lay this nice and flat. And once I have that, I will make sure that I have my batik already cut and ironed. It's important that you have that ironed down so there's no wrinkles in the finished product. So with this laying flat, I want to find the top of the banner silhouette piece here, and it's normally the one that has more of the section here. And I'm going to come down 1.5 inches and score this with just a pair of scissors, or if you have a seam ripper, that works too. So put that inside, open this up, and score this down the side here, just to kind of have a line placement ready to go, and for you to be able to easily lift this and peel it off, because we're going to peel this section away from here, being very careful with these extra small pieces that you don't rip them by any means. So we're just going to keep that and peel this away. So remember, being super careful on these more delicate pieces. Right. And don't forget, and you'll notice this as you're peeling this apart, that this is a heat activated glue, so it's not sticky yet. So it's okay if you kind of are doing what I'm doing and it looks kind of like a mess. That's perfectly all right, because if nothing's going to stick to itself just yet, it is heat activated. All right, so we've moved over to our cutting board here, and we have a much larger piece of batik than is required, but I just wanted to give you the idea of what you can do with this, just kind of by shifting the silhouette around the different colors. A really bright batik is great. You want to be careful not to have something too dull, because you really want to see the color. I know this probably isn't straight by any means.
Yeah, it's looking good.
So we can kind of just flatten these pieces out here, but you can kind of move this around the fabric to kind of see exactly where you're wanting it to be.
Yeah, you might want your butterfly to be a certain color or your flower to be a certain color like in this one, so just shift it around and find that perfect placement.
Exactly. And then we'll just make sure all these pieces lay nice and flat. And once we have them all laid down nice and flat, we can move to the ironing board, because we're going to press this down. So we're over here with our ironing board, and I've got my iron on the cotton setting. I'm using a dry iron, and I'm just going to still kind of just press down just a little bit with my hands just to make sure that These tiny little pieces are as flat as they can be. Now granted, when we come in with the iron, we can fix it as well. But just to go ahead and save ourselves the trouble, I'll put that here. And I'm just going to press with my iron down, press and hold for 3 seconds, and then move to the next section. You don't want to be moving this iron back and forth because you might cause one of these to flip over, and you also might cause the silhouette or the fabric to stretch, and we don't want any of that. So we're just going to be moving this, keeping this nice and flat around it, making sure that we're getting no wrinkles in it, and just pressing and holding for 3 seconds, and we'll just work our way around this piece.
Oh, that's turning out so pretty. Love it. I can't wait to see it hanging in the window.
Yeah, with this color, with the light shining through, it's going to look
Yeah.
really nice. So some of these smaller ones, you might have to use kind of the tip of your iron here to get in and push those down so they don't get wrinkled over. Okay, we're coming up here to the end. Flatten out these sections a little bit more. See, watching that one right there, that one kind of got away from me. So just come in and make sure that I've got that pressed down the right way. And when I'm coming up, I'm going to still leave my piece that's scored. I'm going to leave that edge. I'm not going to iron all the way over that because I don't want that glue to melt to the, or adhere, excuse me, to the paper backing. So I'm just going to pull right up to the edge of it. And then once I have this pressed down with my iron, I can roll my hands across it just to see if there's any pieces that are sticking up, and if they are, come back down with that iron and press it down into place. And the glue dries relatively quickly, so you're not having to worry about that there. But don't be afraid to move your hands around and see if there's any extra pieces that you need to take down. Okay, so we've brought the batik and the silhouette that we've ironed down back to our cutting board, and I've got a wavy cutter on my rotary cutter here, and I'm going to place my clear straight edge ruler here about a 1/2 inch away from the side of the silhouette. You can do an 1/8, between an 1/8 and a 1/2, but the 1/2 frames it really nicely. So I'm just going to take that blade and cut down. Make sure to walk your hand with it so it doesn't move. And we're going to come all the way up here, and then we can rotate this. So I'll take it here and begin to rotate it. Now, normally what you would do is line up the, let's say put this here so we can get an idea, the top of this batik with the scored edge here. But since we used a larger batik to get a much different color variation when we moved it around, we're just going to flip this over, put our straight edge here on the side of our scored piece, right here on the side. So we're going to just continue working our way around. Back on these sides and bottom, we have that 1/2 inch variance. When you're up at the top, make sure that you're very careful if you did not line up the top at, with the top of your fabric, that when you're using a blade that you don't cut over onto the silhouette, because that's going to mess up the hanging process at the end. So we're going to get here, take this around to the side, and kind of just flip things around. Make sure this fabric lays nice and straight again. One of those things about having a little bit of an oversized piece, you just want to watch that. Nice and flat. Same thing, 1/2 inch variance now that we're here at the bottom. Grab our wavy blade and cut down the side. And I got that one right there that I will just eyeball, just like that. And there we go. Okay, so we're back over here at our ironing board. I have flipped the silhouette upside down, and I'm going to remove the rest of the paper that we had left here. And I'm going to place my dowel rod kind of halfway, so it's equally sticking out on both sides here. And then I'm going to flip over the rest of this and begin to press that down. And it's just going to glue to the back of the fabric and make sure we have that nice and straight. We're just going to press it down as we go. Same 3-second idea. You don't want to over iron it because the glue will kind of lose its tacking. And just kind of walk down with it. All the way down to the end. And if you have some pieces that are left up like this, just come back and take it down. Just like that.
So in the instructions, you'll see that they tell you to have a black permanent marker, and that's for reasons if you actually want to color the dowel. And this dowel is actually a little bit longer, so if you want a longer dowel in your project, you can. I did 16 inches on this one. Some of them will call for 14 to 16 inches. It just depends on how far you want it to stay out, how you want to tie your ribbon on. And so we're going to go ahead and color this just so it kind of blends in and matches. All right, so now we're going to tie the ribbon on. And we have our glue here to kind of secure it at the end. And it's really preference. You can do it as long as you want. Or short. You can cut off the end. You can let it hang.
Yeah, what would be really kind of cool, and I believe she mentioned this in the instructions, is if you're using like regular Christmas wrapping ribbon, this is kind of more a specialty ribbon, you can grab your scissors and curl it to have a little curl at the end. That'd be kind of cute.
Yeah. I'm going to tie that. We're almost done. Give it a good little snug, make sure it's tight. And we can put a little glue there, make sure it's clear. And you can do it from the back or from the front, either way. It's just more of a way to kind of hold it in place.
Just to hold that knot from it moving.
Yeah. Okay, Corey, if you want to cut off the excess ribbon.
Sure. Grab those scissors. For this one, we'll trim it here. And there.
There we go. All right, so now we're going to pick it up and look how beautiful it turned out.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that so pretty?
It's gorgeous.
So now we're going to take those suction cups. We're going to go put it on the window and